Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Josim, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. We understand leaving your home for studies and coming to a completely new place can be challenging. But if you know more of your student life, what to expect, where to find help, support for tuition payments, migrations, traveling plans, accommodation, etc., a good info and awareness can really help to ease that challenge. Whatever the situation be, we are here to support you throughout your journey and offer any assistance that makes your decision making and journey simple and fun. And for this, we have invited guests from Student Union, Admissions, and Accommodation to have an interactive session with you all. Before we get started with our guest, I would like to give some practical information. This session is going to be recorded for the purpose of sharing it with the admitted students who could not join us at this time. We want this to be interactive, so please use the Q&A function to take the opportunity to ask your questions to our guest or myself. We will answer all the questions at the end of the webinar. We have also done a lot of exciting webinars which are uploaded on our YouTube channels, such as Accommodation, Study Permit Application, Program USB webinars. Not to miss any stuff, I can recommend subscribing it. You got the details of it in the invitation as well. So today we have with us Gina, the president of Student Union, to talk about all the fun part of being a student here. Corin, an expert for accommodation, to give you a sneak peek into how our accommodation can look like, and Charlotte, an expert into admissions and migrations. I will begin with Gina and hand the floor over to her to give an introduction of who she is and let her give a little tour of what Student Union is about and what its main functions are. Over to you, Gina. Thanks very much.
Well, hi. So I'm just gonna give a little bit of background of who I am. So I'm Gina, and I was born and raised in Vietnam. So I did my bachelor in JU. To be more specific, I did marketing management as a bachelor in June 2019. So I graduated last year. And after I have finished my education, I realized that I still want to be part of the student life, but not in the sense of education in that sense, but rather something with more involvement and something more practicality wise. So I decided to go for the position as the president of Student Union as an international. It has been amazing and I have learned a lot, and I see the importance and also the values as being international here at JU, because we are very integrated from the sense that when I was even a student, I can see how much they try to make me feel like we're included and involved in so many sense of the way. Beside the education itself, beside the international people you're gonna meet from other countries, whether it's in Europe or in any sense of the word, it's very integrated, it's very collaborative from the educational and the social work that we have here. So with JU and JSU, we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to represent themselves, get the education that they deserve, and also get a chance to see the world in a different sense. And so as I have been here for 4 years now, it's been really amazing be part of JU and part of JSU in that sense. And I will explain a little bit more from the side of JSU. I think the most important to know, like before I started my presentation, is that JU and JSU are two different entities. So JU is the university themselves. They're the one in charge more of like the professionalism of what we're supposed to do. The migration, the administration, the education, everything regarding the paperwork and everything regarding your education specifically is JU. And JSU is a student union where we represent ourselves as a student voice. So one of the most amazing thing about sitting here at JU is that they want to give the floor to the student so that we have a voice of ourselves. We tell them what they want. They want to hear what we would like to improve and what we want to work with. So having the student union is basically having a voice that you can communicate with JU and communicate with the university of what can be improved, what has been doing great so far, what we believe that it can be much better for the student and also for the professors. So that is the foundation. We communicate with JU and JU also communicate with us. So those are two different entities. And that is important to know who to contact regarding what matter. And regarding JU, I know Karin and Charlotte will tell you guys a little bit more. And from the JSU side, I will pull up my presentation. Give me a minute. So joint stripping student union, as I was mentioned before. Who are we?
Sorry, Gina, we don't see the presentation. Now we do. Now we do.
Okay.
Now we do.
Great. So maybe there was some technical issues.
Yeah.
But basically, as I mentioned, we are student representative. As you guys know, we have 4 different schools under JU. We have JTH, School of Technicals, we have JIF, the Business School, HOK, the School of Communication, and Hassel, the School of Healthcare. And we have one union. So we represent students from all 4 different faculties. So that's like the whole point of us standing as a unit. And we make sure that we represent the voice of all 4 different faculties there is. And the reason why and the purpose that we exist is to make sure that we are creating the condition for students studying at JU where they feel included, supported, and safe in their student life. So we are here to make sure in the sense that everything going on around JU, you guys are supposed to feel that you guys are included. You guys are supported in just education, you guys are supported in getting different chances to do a different thing. And you guys definitely have to feel safe within your education and other social activities you guys gonna join. So how we structure is that we have annual meeting. So we have one big meeting every the end of the year where we decided that, okay, what do we want to work with? What type of area that we want to improve? Do we want to improve the communication we have with different association? Do we want to improve the social lives that we have here? Do we want to improve how to use the membership fee better? So that is when we actually talk about big decision and we regulate it with the union and we make sure that that's what a student wants. So basically we take in student input, we discuss together in the annual meeting, and then we have the JSU board. So basically volunteer student we actually have a meeting right now. So we sit down every other 2 weeks and we discuss different points of what we can do. So it can be everything from should we buy the car for the union so that the student association can borrow it? Or should we improve the appearance of Rio, the coffee place that we have? Or who should sit in the meeting with JU? So there's like a lot of different things that we discuss can be very tiny, minor details to a bigger sense of the word. And so with that, we have the presidium. So the presidium is the president and the vice president of student union. So I am the president. I got elected. So the position is elected, meaning that you did a presentation about yourself, you motivated why you are the suitable candidate for the position. And then it's actually the student who decided who should sit in this position. So beside me, I have Austrine, who is my vice. And we basically, the unit itself represent the whole student, but we have a little bit more specific people to do what and where. So that's what the presidium are for. And I mentioned a lot with the JU, working with JU. So we do work with JU in a higher level, such as, for example, I do communicate a lot with deans from different schools. I also communicate with different department of JU. And that is also in the president position to represent high tech, which is in School of Technical and JIPS and Hasso Sehun and Look. So as I mentioned, we represent the four different faculties with JU as well. They also in meetings with the school themselves, but JU University as a whole is from the union. And so there are 7 remunerated, meaning people who get compensated for working with the union, president, vice president, project leader, who's in charge of like the big events and the kickoff that you guys hopefully will be able to join, the generals, head of different associations, so head of Look, head of JSA, head of High Tech. And we have 9 employees. And as I mentioned, we have also JSU board, but they work in a very different way. Again, they are volunteers. And then they give us more of a student voice. They're the one who actually help us that we are going on the right track of actually representing the student. And that is like all the technical part and the foundation of what you guys need to understand how we work. And the fun part of being part of the unit is that we have kickoff. So one of like the most amazing thing being in Sweden, especially being part of JU, is that we have kickoff. It's basically 1 week of getting the fun introduction of the student life in Sweden, when you guys get a chance to meet different people. You guys will have fathers or people who are gonna be more responsible, helping you guys out, what to do, where to go, meeting new people. You guys will have different events within those 7 days, doing what you guys just to get to know the life, like the college life here. And then we have other events such as Valborg, which was like a big event at the end of April in Sweden, and we're also the one organizing it with different concert, and then we have people sitting around, and we just, having the college life that we try to organize for you guys. And that's from the union. IC is also part of the union. So IC stands for Integration Activities Committee, meaning all the activities are for integration. They have the buddy program where you guys can sign up and have a buddy. A buddy is who already study in JU and have experience in JU. And they are supposed to be basically a friend to you and help you out on what to do, the small tips, where to go to groceries, where to party, basically on like the small, fun, soft values that you guys might get from a friend. They also have different programs such as hiking that you guys can also join. They have the Eurovision night where they all sit down in our coffee place, Rio, and they watch Eurovision together. So there is a lot of different events, and I highly recommend you guys follow them on social media such as Instagram. It's called IC Joint Shopping, and you guys can find more activities to do once you guys are here. And just so you guys know, a lot of things that I mentioned here, you guys will probably have more information later on. So don't be pressured of like, oh, you have to take a note about what you guys have to do right now. We also have JUSA, which is the Sport Association. This is one of the most fun part of the university life, where you guys still have different sport that you guys can join. They have everything from badminton to basketball to floorball, and they usually have different type of events for students to join as well. And that is a really great way for you to meet people from different places who have the same interests or sport activities that you guys can join as well. And then we have 19 associations underneath the union, and you guys can always be part of this group. You guys can decide which group you guys want to be. If you guys enjoy taking picture, editing, join studio. If you guys like have an interest in writing newspaper, join edit. And if you guys are really good at esport, we have justice. So there's a wide range of different things you guys can join. And the most important thing that I realized I didn't add in the slide is that everything managed to happen because we have the compulsory membership fee. So basically, the membership fee, it was decided by JU that if you're a student here, you're automatically part of the student union as well. And the fee is every semester. And this is how we manage to do whatever we're doing right now, with all the event we're creating, with all the association managing to go on, and every question that we try to help you out. More information about that should be given you guys later on. But in general picture, everything we all managed to do is thanks to the membership fees from all the students. And if there is any question or if there is anything at all, you guys can always find us at our social media. And you guys can also feel free to reach out to me. And I know you guys are going to start your education here really soon, and I'm very excited to see all of you guys. So please, if you guys ever see us wearing pink, I don't have my overall here, sadly, but we have our own colors of overall. And if you guys see anyone wearing like pink pants, feel free to like reach out, ask us any question at all. We are also at the student house. When you guys are here, you guys will see like the first house that say Rio as well. And we're on the second floor. And basically, the student are you guys, the union are you guys. So whenever you guys have a question, there will people be helping you guys out. And so we are by student and we are for students. So the question that most probably will be helpful to ask us will be like, oh, how can I join this? How can I join that? Or if you have questions regarding your education in a sense, like, oh, I feel like I was a little bit mistreated or be treated unfairly about this exam, try to talk to us as well if you guys haven't managed to talk with the department in your own education. So we do try to support you guys in different sense. And question regarding more of like the student life, please feel free coming to us, even with your education as well, on how we can improve and how we can motivate and lobby for JU as well. It's also through us about the student voice. But yeah, I would say that is the very basic information. If you guys have any question, please feel free.
Thanks very much, Gina. I see a lot of exciting sports, esports, and a lot of activities happening, and what's happening with the kickoff. So I'm sure that you guys have already planned or are in the process of planning it. So should our admitted students be expecting something fun this year?
Completely, especially that now COVID is not really a big issue to us anymore. We're gonna have a normal kickoff, and kickoff is one of the things that is really exciting. And I was international, so I know how fun it was to be included in those different activities. We really do try to integrate with both the native and the international in one group. As long as you guys have the same education, no matter where you're from, you guys will meet people in the same education, in the same program. So that's also a good chance for you to meet up and get to know new people and make friends, and also just joining different events we're gonna have during the beginning of the semester. And we'll always have like stuff going on during the year as well. So I think the biggest tips would be just follow us on social media, just to know that, okay, what is going on. And if you guys have every question at all regarding that, can also just knock on our office and ask.
A lot of
We
lot of
also
my A lot of my students have great memories from the trips they had made through Student Union to different countries, especially Norway. One of the trips I think you guys did was in Norway. And the students really talk about it and they have amazing memories around that. So, yeah, it's the Northern Lights, all those kind of exciting trips which you organize the whole year round, which are quite subsidized, by the way, when you go through Student Union, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So basically, we are in partnership with a company called Time Travel, and we try our best to offer like the trip in like the most reasonable price for student. And we go everywhere from Iceland, which is one of the best trip you can get with a reasonable price as well, to even going to Lapland, which is like 12 hours drive, or almost like a day drive from Jönköping, but you can see the northern light of Sweden, or even in Finland, and that is definitely a very like different experience to get a chance to go. We also do like small, even like just like a small local trip to see the mooses in Dume Muse. So there are so many different range of just going somewhere 2 hours away from Jönköping to going to another country. And I know like this last year they also went to Copenhagen in Denmark, which is not too far away as well. And so there's a lot of different options to join different troops. And that's also a good chance for you to meet new people as well.
Thanks very much, Gina. I'm sure that a lot of students have a lot of questions from you. But first, I need to introduce my other guests, and I can hand over to Corinne for her introduction and let her give some light info on what to expect from our accommodation.
Yes, thank you, Yasim. Yeah, my name is Karin and I work at the accommodation office. I just have a small presentation which I would like to share, and then if you have any questions, we can go on with them. Just a second.
Just a tip, guys, I have shared some links on the chat function, which includes the webinar on accommodation, which is a detailed webinar on the topic of accommodation. And also, I have shared a link on study permit webinar, which is also quite a detailed webinar on how to make your study permit application. So please watch those webinars, and a lot of your questions might be already answered in those webinars. And I've also shared the link to FAQs and our general webinar page. So please go and watch those and save those links. And they are going to be quite useful for your use in coming time.
And for the recording, the address to those links will be added
Embedded.
in the video.
Perfect.
Okay, So I have my presentation ready for you, and yeah, so I said I'm from the accommodation office, and I think many of you have already emailed us and asked the questions that you have, but I will just show you a few slides here. We have some important dates to remember. Just a second. Maybe you already know, but the application is open until May 25th. So go to the link which you have received by email and make your application as soon as you can. Then the other date to confirm the accommodation is to register your arrival, and it will be open on July 1 to 20. And then, of course, we have the pickup service, which also have the information on the website, and it will take place on August 17 to 20. We will be open from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. And you will have like time slots to choose from so you can make use of the best service. Let's see here. Yeah, I just have some slides from our accommodations, and this is one of the newest one at Linsen. We have a great view from the top floor of Jönköping, and also you can see that the rooms are furnished. Yeah, I can just at Linsen we also there you stay either with 3 other students sharing an apartment or with 1 other students. So this is quite, you have like small or like big apartments, but you share with a few students. At these accommodations, Ekhagen and Råslätt, there are many students who live here. At Ekhagen, you live in your own apartment. And at Råslätt, you share the apartment with 2 or 3 other students. And these are quite popular, these accommodations, because you meet a lot of international students, also national students. So it's a great mix. And they used to be quite popular, actually. Then we have our newest one at Skapsfabriken. And there you have your own apartment. You share common kitchens if you want. You have small kitchens in the apartment, but you have a great area where you can socialize. And you also, as you see, you have a great laundry room here where you can actually chill if you want to.
The sofa looks really comfortable, the chairs.
Yeah, that's the best place actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, and just what you need to bring your bed linens, your own towels, your personal belongings. But all accommodations are furnished, so you don't have to furnish them when you come here. And at most accommodations, you also have like the duvet, or do you say duvet? Duvet?
Duvet.
Yeah. And the blanket. At some accommodations, you have to buy your own cutleries, but at most of them, other students have left their own behind, and they are free to use. Yeah, this was a short presentation, and if you have any questions, I don't know if we should take it now, or otherwise you have this address which you can just send them to me at some other point.
Great. Thanks very much, Karin. So lastly, we have Charlotte with us, who you can tell who you are and what kind of questions you would be helping us today with.
Yes, I'm Charlotte. I work in the admissions office. I work with both admissions, tuition fees, and migration questions. So that's what I can help answer more today. We did have, like you said, Jasim, a webinar on applying for a study permit, which is quite detailed webinar. So you can watch that to get the most information. I can mention about the student union fee, is that for tuition fee paying students, the student union fee is part of the tuition fee. So we pay the student union for your membership. If you're an EU citizen, you don't pay tuition fees, then you have to pay the student union fee directly to the student union. And they have excellent information about it on their student union website. So go and check out their website to find out how and what you need to pay for that.
Thanks very much.
Yep, that's pretty much.
We can actually now go towards Q&A for the interactive session and see what kind of questions have we got in. The first one is about, do I have to inform about my arrival? I think, is it maybe accommodation or is it admissions? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, if it's the accommodation you will receive an email telling you to fill in your arrival date. And it's important that you do that so you can make use of the service and also to confirm your accommodation.
Do I need to pay a deposit to secure my apartment?
You have to make an application fee when you do the application. At some accommodations, you have to pay a deposit when you arrive, but at some don't. You have the information on the website.
Do I have to pay in advance to have a guaranteed apartment?
Just the application fee of 700 Swedish crowns.
We guarantee accommodation to all of our international students, right?
Yes, if you apply.
Yeah, if they apply, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I have a board meeting I have to still attend. But
Yes.
I will leave my email in the chat. So if anyone at all have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm just gonna let it there, and I hope to see you guys soon, basically.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks so much. And see you around.
No worries. If anything, please just let me know. See
And
you.
I'm sure a lot of students would be meeting you once they come in.
I hope so.
Definitely. Oh, well, in regards to accommodation, yes, we do have guaranteed accommodation, but again, Karin, it's for our students, right?
Yes, not for family members. So if you pay for the application, you pay the application fee for you as a student, and the guarantee for accommodation is for the student.
Which is the best accommodation in Jönköping in terms of cost and number of students choosing to live there? I think all the questions are coming towards you, Karin.
Yeah. The cost, sorry, was this the lowest?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's looking, or someone is looking for what is the cheapest choice for accommodation.
Yeah, the cheapest choice is Råslätt.
Yeah.
Where
and I think he wants to, or he or she wants to combine cheap with the best combination.
Yeah. I think every accommodation is the best accommodation.
But I can say you one thing on this. A lot of my students are living in Råslätt, which is one of the cheapest accommodations we have. But trust me, they are so happy. The service they get from the student life and the social circle, and they have this common area to play billiard or different kind of table tennis. So it's a quite social place. So if you are into that, that could also be a great choice for you, actually.
Yeah, it's a popular one.
Yeah, it's a popular one, exactly. Does a residence permit card equal a visa to travel? I was told by the embassy staff that once I received my residence permit card for studies, I do not need to apply for a visa as an international student. Does that mean I travel from my country to Sweden with the residence permit card as my visa? Yes.
Well, that's actually, it depends. So it's not, it depends. Because this person might be from a country where it's not required to have an entry visa. Some countries, an entry visa is required in addition to. But if the embassy says you don't have to have an entry visa, then you're from one of the countries that don't need it. So listen to your embassy.
Great. When do we receive the information about our accommodation?
When you arrive, yeah.
So no one gets to know where they are going to live until they arrive.
No. So they will have all the information upon arrival.
I have applied for accommodation. When can I know if I have been admitted? I have admitted. I think
To the
somebody's,
accommodation.
yeah, I mean, if his application or her application has gone through, that's what I understand from the question.
Yeah, when you have announced your arrival, which is in July, then you will have like an email telling you that your accommodation is confirmed.
Okay. I paid my tuition fee, can apply for residence permit now. If so, how much bank balance should I have? Do I need to upload the receipt? And the receipt is the same as the one which with paid stamp or different. Again, please watch the webinar link, which I dropped on the chat function. And we have a detailed webinar on study permit, and in which we have also spoken about how much money you need to show in your bank balance in your personal account to apply for your residence permit. So if you watch that, I'm sure that this question will be quite easily answered through that webinar.
Yes.
Which accommodations include a personal bathroom? And I think that information should be on our web, isn't it?
Yeah, that's on the website. But Ekhagen and Kunskapsfabriken have their own bathrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. And you mentioned about that you could also have your own one-room apartment at Linson, right?
No, you share the apartment with one other person or three other persons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a dog. Is it possible to apply for accommodation? I tried to find a place, but it's hard for new students without ID.
No pets allowed.
No pets allowed. Sorry. I would like to come with my wife. Do you have any available accommodations for couples?
No, I'm sorry.
We don't help with that. However, you should, as a tip, you can go and search for it on different Facebook channels and marketplace, and try to find info through those kind of channels.
Yeah, the student union has some information as well about that on their website. So check out the student union website as well for that.
Will I get a health insurance covered as I study a one-year master's program?
It's if you're a fee-paying student, emergency health insurance is part of the tuition fee that you've paid, and that's valid for the entire study program, the 10-month, one academic year is 10 months, and the insurance covers 2 weeks before you start and 2 weeks after the end of the studies. It's if you have a pre-existing condition, then the emergency health insurance will not cover that. So for that, you would need to purchase a separate health insurance from your own country before you travel to Sweden.
Is accommodation available for the dependent? Natasha is asking, is accommodation available for the dependent? No, we just answered that. What about the language? Do I need to learn Swedish language?
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yasim, how long have you been here?
I came yesterday. I think yes. No, yeah. Don't take me as the role model. Otherwise, you will never survive. I'm the worst example to have. But I think it's always good to learn the language. my wife can speak the language, so I get away with having to stand behind her in the line, I think. I have initiated my payment for tuition with evidence, but still processing, not debited. Is my place still secured?
Well, if you have submitted a receipt, transaction, proof of the transaction that you sent to tuition@ju.se, we know to expect your payment. International transactions can take anywhere from 5 to 15 or 17 days. It completely depends on which country and which banks are used and things like that. But we try to keep admission open if you submit the proof of already made the payment. So do that.
Is the student union fee included for Swiss exchange students?
Exchange students, all exchange students pay the student union fee on their own.
Can incoming August 2023 intake students apply for roles in JU Student Union? If so, when can we apply? Yes, you can do that. And whenever there are positions, they are announced, right? You can write. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the whole process, but I know that a lot of students who come in, who are current students, even in their first year, they end up working for student union, with student union. So if you have a passion for doing that, definitely you will have the opportunity and the platform for doing so. After paying the application fee, is there any amount I should pay again? No.
Not until you arrive.
Yes. From what date can we move into accommodation?
From August 15. But I suggest if you want to have the best service and make use of the pickup service, then you should arrive from August 17 to 20.
Arrival date, meaning only in that time I can arrive, yes. So if my lessons begin in August 22nd, so I can be in my apartment. Just hold on, the question is gone somewhere. Yeah, now I can see. 22nd, so I can be in my apartment by 17th of August, yes, not before that day.
I didn't understand the question.
So I can repeat the question actually. Arrival date meaning only in that time I can arrive, yes. So if my lessons begin in August 22nd, can I be at my apartment on August 17th? Yes, you can be.
Yeah.
If you want to use the pickup service, but if you don't want to do that, you can come 15th of August as well.
Yes.
However, it's better and highly suggested that you come by 17th of August, because then you get all the help for reaching our accommodation through accommodation service.
Yeah, we will be here on the August 15 on the evening. Then we will not be
exactly
here. So it's office hours, either the pickup service.
So if your lessons are beginning on August 22nd, yes, you can start to live by 17th, absolutely fine. Please, do I have to pay for accommodation fees since I'm coming with my family?
No.
Because you can't apply for accommodation.
No. Then you don't have to pay.
If I get a letter that I'm in the reserve list scholarship, can I apply next year to try to get it again?
Well, that depends. If it's for a 1-year program, then you can apply for the program and scholarship again next year. But if you are not awarded a scholarship this year and you're studying a 2- or 3-year program, it's not possible to apply after you've started the program. So the scholarship is always awarded for the entire program before starting it. So no.
But if they don't begin, but they would like to come next year with making
And
a new
they apply
application,
again and
yeah.
apply for scholarship again.
Yeah. When would I be informed of, about my accommodation?
When you arrive.
Can I refuse the provided accommodation if I do not like it, or can I leave within that year?
No. Last day to cancel your accommodation is July 20. That's also the last day to register your arrival. If we haven't heard anything from you, then you have to, then you have to like your accommodation.
But what are the rules once you have started to live in your accommodation? So you can give a notice that you want to leave the accommodation 3 months before the time, right?
Yes. Yeah, but you can't change accommodation. If you cancel the accommodation, you have to find a place on your own.
If I'm not taking the university's accommodation, do I need to inform about my arrival?
No.
No. Can I refuse the provided accommodation if I do not like? Oh, I'm sorry, it's the same question. Does Roslyn have 1 or 2 bathrooms per apartment? Yes, I think 2.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but 1 or 2. Yeah. It depends on how many students who live there.
While applying for accommodation, I have chosen not to share room with others. Can I still get a chance in Roslyn without sharing room? In Roslyn, you do not share rooms, right?
No.
No.
You share the apartment, but you have your own room.
Please, if I'm coming with my spouse, is it possible to have a convenient accommodation around the university, given the university? I'm sorry, again and again, we do not provide family accommodation. Unfortunately, we do not have that kind of resources and the service available. Hi, is there any in and out time for university accommodation? Like, is it possible to come late after part-time work? Yeah, there's no in and out time. You can choose whenever you want to come in. Because I think some boarding schools, this is not a boarding school, they have their rules, but this is a free space. You can come in, you can leave whatever time you want to.
Yes.
And guess what? The university is also accessible 24 hours a day. So you can come in to study in one of the study rooms. So you can do that. It's easily available for you.
That's what the JU card is all about.
Exactly.
It gives you access to the study group rooms and everything. That's why you should get this.
I remember when I was a student, I used to quite often, spend my night times at the university studying. And that was so strange, because that's not the experience you get in Asia, because everything gets closed down because of security reasons and a lot of other reasons. But here, the universities are quite open spaces, 24 hours for students, actually. And I love that part, actually.
Yeah.
After submitting my application to the immigration, what's the next step? And how long does it usually take to hear from the Migrations Board?
That all depends. Once you've applied for a residence permit for study, it's up to the migration agency to look it over and see if there's anything missing. If they have to ask you for more documents, it's going to take longer before a decision will be made. And you have to have shown your passport in person at the embassy or consulate before a decision will be made. So we can't really say, because it completely depends on how many other applicants from your area, if your permit application is complete or not, things like that. So it can take anywhere from a month to, if you're not lucky, if you're unlucky, it can take 4 months, 5 months. So try to have your everything in order.
Will I have access to my room when I arrive between 4 and 10 p.m. during the pickup period?
No, you have to wait until we open at 1.
Yeah, so they can have the access. So they cannot come before 1 p.m., but they can have between 1 and 10 p.m.
Yes, yeah.
Will I be interviewed before my visa is granted? Do I need to prepare for such interviews?
You might be called for an interview with at the embassy, but it's up to the migration agency to decide. And we never know beforehand who will be called for an interview.
How do I get to know the accommodation rates and pictures to be able to make my decision? Everything is on the website. And if you watch the link for the webinar, which we have done, you would also see the link directly on the web, which leads towards all the info you're talking about, asking about actually. It says online that you only need to apply for visa if you are coming to Sweden for less than 3 months. As I will be studying a 2-year master's program and will have a residence permit card, do I need to apply for a visa? I cannot find any online source stating to apply for a visa in addition to residence permit card. Most probably you would not need that.
It depends again from what country you're coming from. And it will be the embassy that tells you if you need to have a visa as well. So what country you're from and the embassy will tell you. Again, the webinar on the study permit has more information and more links for you to read more about it.
I had paid my accommodation application fee of 700 SEK on 28th of April to the provided bank account, but still the payment status of accommodation is mentioned as not paid. Please help me to provide an update on my payment and to submit my accommodation application.
Yeah, it can take a few days up to a week before it gets registered, but if it's still not registered, just send me an email at the accommodation at I don't remember my email.
Accommodation@ju.se.
Yeah, just send me an email and I will make sure that we will solve the situation.
Okay, but should they also send like a proof of their payment to you, or
Yeah,
should they be
they
sending
can
that?
attached.
When does the academic year starts and ends, and are there any public holidays during the year? There
are public holidays. The academic calendar for each of the schools can be found on our website. So look for it under after admissions. That's where you can find the academic calendar. So ju.se, and then the English website, and then
they would also have it on their student web, actually.
Yeah, and the student web as well.
By the way, there are a lot of public holidays and Christmas breaks and autumn break, and so it's a lot of fun going on during the year. So you wouldn't miss out on anything. Trust me. How long does it take for money to get debited from my account to pay for accommodation? I have initiated, but hasn't left my account yet. It's been more than 24 hours.
Okay, it can take more than 24 hours. So just wait for a few days more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Could I get a single room with 2 shared beds to stay with my sister, the applicant?
If the sister is also a student.
Yes, she's also a student.
Yeah, then you can just fill in the share bedroom option and state her name in your application, and she will have to state your name also in the application, and then hopefully we will be able to arrange it.
Oh, wonderful. For students who study a 2-year master's in Sweden and are registered into health population, do they need to apply for insurance if they apply for a visa to look for work after completing their studies?
No.
No. Great. Simple.
Simple.
Is there any Swedish course in school, charge or free of charge?
There are 2 Swedish courses available for admitted students. Tuition fee paying students will have to pay the tuition fee for the Swedish course. If you're an SI scholarship scholar, then you still have to pay because the SI scholarship doesn't pay for that course.
Regarding the pickup service, where can I find meeting points once I arrive at the airport?
Where can I find?
At the airport. So where can I find the meeting point once I arrive at the airport?
Yeah,
not a very big airport, so you are not going to.
I guess the student is coming to Stockholm or Gothenburg, and then he or she has to take the bus to Jönköping bus and train station, and there you will find the pickup service. We will not pick you up anywhere.
But do we have any cases where students come to Jönköping Airport?
Not at the moment, because they are not flying those roads. Yeah.
If tuition fee is not paid by now, what's the consequences?
Well, you risk losing your admission, so you have to contact us and inform us the reason. Some programs have been filled, so we need to offer the place to someone else if you haven't paid, so you have to contact us.
Do pathway program students have to worry about accommodation, or we all just move to Grana?
You move to Grana.
Yeah. Is the bank balance show money inclusive of 13 months of living expenses and restitution fee? No, you don't need to show tuition fee that you have already paid to be able to get your admission. The bank balance, yes, you have to show it for 30 months if you're coming for more than a year's education, and that info is also much detailed explained in the study permit webinar. When can pathway students arrive at the accommodation at Campus Grana?
The pickup service for the pathway program is on 20. I will just look. So say the right dates here. Because I want to know. 26 and 27 of August.
Okay.
Yes.
Because they start on the 28th.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm offered global management as a course of study at JU. Can I swap to MS Economics?
Not at this time. You would have to check with a study counselor and perhaps change after 1 year, but since global management, and if you say economics, if that is applied economics, those are 2 completely different programs. One is business administration, the other one is economics, and they have different entry requirements. So you might not be eligible to the economics program if you're eligible for the business administration program.
What is the maximum duration for the residence permit to be granted?
13 months.
During my RP application, I put my RP start date as August 1st, even when my LOA says my program starts August 21st. Please, does this affect my RP application?
Nope.
No. Can my friends sleep over at my dorm? Not daily, but maybe.
Yeah, 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realistically, what is the minimum fund amount students need to survive in Sweden? That info is also on our web. You need to have at least 900 euros approximately to be able to survive on monthly basis, plus minus. So, is it possible to stay in accommodation for only 1 semester and move to another place that we find ourselves in the 2nd semester?
Yes.
Secondly, I have been invited for an embassy interview in my country, but the invitation doesn't invite my partner for the interview. Please, does this have any disadvantage on my application? Will I still be able to travel with my partner?
That is completely up to the migration agency. If they've decided that they want to interview you, they might not need to interview your partner.
Please, is it possible to have a subvention within a 2-year study? Subvention, what is subvention?
If you're talking about the fees, if you haven't been awarded, applied for and awarded a scholarship, there's nothing really we can do. You have to pay the fee in full.
Where can we find the academic calendar?
Again, it's on our website and the student web.
My chosen Sweden embassy for residence permit collected mentioned in their website. For those who require visa to enter Sweden, you are welcome to the embassy to submit biometrics on Tuesdays. No appointment is necessary. Does this mean I do not need to apply for my visa? Simply submitting biometrics is sufficient, even though I am a South Asian international student. I don't think so. A visa would be needed for.
Again, let's not be too hasty in replying here, because it depends completely on the nationality. So basically, to be allowed to study in Sweden for more than 3 months, you have to have a residence permit. If you also have to have an entry visa, you have to get that as well. So it's either the residence permit and you don't need an entry visa, or you have to have them both. Again, the embassy can help you with that information.
Can I choose my accommodation and change it after 1 year? I'm going for a 3-year program.
No, you can't change it. You can cancel the contract, but then you have to find housing by yourself.
I do not like the accommodation. Can I change it next semester or year? We just answered, sorry.
Yeah.
Do passive program students have to worry about accommodation? Yeah, we just answered that as well. If by chance one missed the roll-up call due to delay, what's next?
Well, if you can't be in Jönköping at the mandatory roll call, as it states in your letter of acceptance, you have to contact the admissions office and tell us that you have a problem arriving and why you can't arrive. And then you might be able to be allowed to arrive later. A latest arrival date hasn't been set yet, so that's why you have to contact us to get more information. We might not know until June when the latest arrival date will be. So hang in there, and then once you get to July and you realize you can't be on time, contact us.
I can see, guys, that we have a lot of questions still, and the time has 1 hour has already passed. So we can take extra 10 minutes to see if we can answer the rest of the questions. But unfortunately, we'll have to switch off 16:10, and so you guys know about it. But we'll try to see if we should be able to go through all of the questions in 10 minutes. Please, what is the deadline for payment for the first installment of tuition fee for master program? Thank you very much.
That is stated on your invoice. It's the due date.
On the Swedish immigration website, it mentions that the time of application to be completed is within 7 months. I'm worried as what if I do not make it for the August intake?
7 months is the national average for decisions made up till now. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take 7 months now. But the main thing is that you submit your application as soon as possible, that your application is complete, which means you have to have paid the tuition fee, so we have received it before the migration agency will start looking at your application.
I paid the university fee and I got the confirmation message. But is there any other receipt to show the embassy that I paid?
They might ask for a receipt. So if you log on to the invoice system and you download the invoice again, it will have a big green stamp that says paid on it. So that you bring.
After embassy interview, how long it will take to get the decision? We
That
cannot say,
depends,
right?
that depends on the workload for the migration agency.
If a student won't make it on time to the compulsory roll call due to any possible delays of getting the study permit, GU master on 21st of, and which department? So
It doesn't matter what your, it doesn't matter which JU school, the pathway is different. But again, it doesn't matter if you're admitted to JU Bachelor Master or the pathway programs. The information in your letter of acceptance states that you have to contact us, and the email is written in your letter of acceptance. Contact us for any more information about late arrival, and we'll get there.
What type of clothing should students pack before coming to Sweden? Any must essentials to bring? I mean, I think you can find a lot of guide online and on YouTube, and a lot of our students have, for instance, done a lot of YouTube videos about what to bring in. I know that Study in Sweden have a lot of content on that, so please go and watch those videos on YouTube or Study Institute website. My advice is that if you're from a warm country, it's always best to buy your jacket when you arrive in Sweden. So that's one tip from my side.
Yeah.
Can you work out of Sweden during summer breaks, for example, in Norway?
Well, that depends if you're an EU citizen or not. If you're a fee-paying student and your residence permit has expired or is expiring during the summer, and you applied for an extension, you shouldn't leave the country. And I don't know if you're allowed to work in another country if you have a residence permit in Sweden, because a residence permit for study in Sweden allows you to work in Sweden, not any other country.
Please, while studying in JU with my RP, can migrations let me and my partner be allowed visit my home country during breaks? Yes.
Yes,
of course.
But again, like I said, if you're in the process of applying for an extension, if you haven't received the decision, leaving Sweden is not a good idea, because then it might cause trouble that you can't come back in time for the next semester.
Can I stay in the accommodation if I arrive in the first week of August? No.
No. 15 should be the right date.
Yeah. The answer to this question was not clear. Will I have the access to my room when I arrive between 4 and 10 p.m. during the pickup period?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. How should international students travel to Jönköping? Example from China. Which airport do I need to book a flight to? If you can book a flight to Gothenburg, that would be the best. However, Copenhagen and also Stockholm, the second choice, in my opinion, would be Copenhagen, and the third choice would be Stockholm.
Yeah.
So, but Gothenburg, we get a lot of flights, so I think it should be fine for you to find some route coming in from China over to Gothenburg.
Yeah, and then you just search for traveling from that airport to Jönköping.
And
Yeah.
do we have that info on accommodation about the bus service from taking from the airport, from the Gothenburg airport?
I think there's a link to Bus for You or Flixbus.
And there's information in the student guide that can be found at ju.se/new student, I think.
Please, for international students, which bank details do we use to pay the fee in our invoice? Because there are more than two different bank numbers there. I'm sorry, I don't know which bank details.
Well, if you're talking about the invoice, the bank account number is written, and then the IBAN number. IBAN stands for International Bank Account Number. So most banks would use the IBAN number, which is the account number is part of the IBAN number. But if your bank can uses the IBAN system, that is the number you should use.
Will there be any assistance for part-time jobs from JU? I'm sorry, but we do have a career center, which and they have a lot of contacts which are with a lot of companies which are looking for student jobs and stuff. So they might have some info for you on that. So please once you come here, you can get in touch with them. I paid for my tuition fee. When is the due date to apply for the residence permit?
As soon as possible.
Yes.
Because the longer you wait, the more time it will take before you get a decision. So you shouldn't wait with paying the tuition fee, and you shouldn't, once you've paid the tuition fee, apply for the residence permit.
If I live with my junior sister, is it possible for me to come with her? If she's not a student, then it's not possible. When I do not use the pickup service, how can I connect with accommodation?
You can send us an email and then book an appointment for picking up your keys.
Great. When do okay, sorry. Is it okay to have a residence permit D visa in another country and still applying for Sweden residence permit card? Can you suggest me how much is the possibility of getting the visa?
I'm not sure that I understand this question, so please send it to admissions.office@ju.se.
What is the actual time of arrival? What is the last date to come here? I'm actually going through the questions quite fast because we are have
late arrival date hasn't been set yet, so try to get here for the roll call. And if you can't, contact us.
I'm an EU citizen, got admitted in Pathway. Can I request to extend my Pathway fee deadline?
Send us an email.
Great. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining in today. Remember, we are going to upload the copy of this feed today on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You already have that info on the invitation you have received from me. So thank you very much for joining in, and I hope to see you in Jönköping at the university once you come in. All the best, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.